And we are. The challenge that I'm going to try and conquer in this stream is to figure out how do I teach people how to use the store. It's really not. Excuse me, I'm burping to myself. It's really not that simple because the store the store is a pretty complicated beast, and I want to tackle these problems one at a time. The first thing I thought was, well, the obvious thing to do is to use getters first. So let's just let's just go ahead and grab everything from a list. But the problem with that is we don't have any data to grab. So what am I going to do? Teach people how to grab data from a list when the data doesn't even exist yet? Like, that's nuts. And so the first thing I want to do when I'm teaching this is basically show people how to create data, and then we'll move on to getting data. There we go. And if I refresh the page there, I've now lost all of that, which is what I expected because the API gradually just wipes data every now and then. So, all right. So I think I've decided now we're going to go create new module, but we need to decide what we're creating all of this for. So how about we say, I might split this into a few videos, and the first one will be creating a to-do list. All right, so we'll start with creating a new module, which will be the to-do list module. Then I'll have to restart the server because that's going to make the new module active. Create list action. Is that what I do first? Yeah, because you go action and then the mutation. So make the list, make the create list action, and then make the create list mutation. Now, the cool thing about doing it this way is I'll be able to swap things out. So when we end up creating our own backend API with something like Firebase or whatever, all we have to do is swap out all of our action code. So that is now using the new backend. That's my plan there. So that's the first thing. We need to be able to create it, and then we need to be able to read it, which I think will be another video. Oh, no. Okay, I see what I've done there. So I want to do the action, and then I want to show the result of that. So we'll probably do like some console.logging there. And then we want to do the mutations. All right, then we'll do another video for the getters. Create getters for to-do list. Getters/actions. It's actually getters/actions for fetching to-do list. Getters/actions? Yeah, because you need an action for that as well. Oh, God, even mutations. Okay, so we make the getter then, and after we've made a getter, we'll then have to come in here and rewrite the code for getting the list. Rewrite code for displaying lists. Yeah, and I definitely want to split this up into videos, I'm thinking. So hopefully I can explain this in a way that is really basic and straightforward for people to understand. In fact, I might even reverse some of my work. Oh, it'll be this one here. Yeah, so we will have already built that UI, so I might even reverse some of my other work before and try and redo it again. Yeah, we're importing the API from Axios here. And so I'll need to make sure that I cover Axios, the whole API concept with Axios when I'm doing boot files. So we might even come in here and make sure that I'm covering that. This is the work that goes into building these series and making sure that it's good. It takes a lot of preparation to make sure you're doing a getting started series that's really, really good. Getting started series, I think, are actually harder than advanced series because you can forgive yourself for a lot of the mistakes you make along the way and like go back and fix it. But with a getting started series, you want everything to be like you never want to lose the person that's watching it. It's really important that it's a stellar experience all the way through. Okay, Axios. So when we're doing Axios here, point to, oh, what about including API code? Just to make sure I've got that included there. Cool. All right, so I've already done this now. Let's go ahead and just finish writing the code for this so that I've got it. So let's go to create list button, which is this thing here because the dialog's included in the button. And then when you click on that create button and it creates the to-do list, we then want to actually close the dialog. So what I might actually do here instead is say handle create clicked, and then we'll say this dot create to-do list, and then dot then, because we should be getting a promise back there, unless I've done something bad. Handle, and then this will pass through the form. So this dot form, and then we'll accept the response there, and then basically we want to say close the dialog. And the way that I'm going to do that is reference the dialog. We've got that here. Oh, there it is there. Make sure that this is set on. Yep, cool. So then we'll say this dot $refs, grab that dialog button and then hide it. Actually, we wanted to do it. Oh, we don't actually have hide on that dialog button. So I'm going to have to make sure that when I create the dialog button, I include a hide method. So we're not going to use setup anymore. So I now need to change this from the composition API. We're going to move to the composition API later on. So I can simply say here, show dialog is equal to, this needs to return an object, false by default. Yep, get rid of the setup method now, and this should still work fine. Apparently not. Oh, we don't need that anymore. Okay, cool. So the next, now what I should be able to do is basically say hide here. We'll have a method here of hide, and that'll say this dot show dialog is equal to false, and then we'll also have one for show. Even though it's unlikely you would actually do this, you want the method there anyway, just for completeness. Oh, look at that. They're all showing up now. There must be some weird code in my API because sometimes that's showing up and then sometimes it's not. Yeah, I bet you I've done something weird in my API code. Let's go ahead and have a look at that. Let's go to quasarcast.com, open that in code. In fact, I'll go one step further by going a bit deeper here. And cd into our to-do API. There's obviously something weird I've done here. So let's have a look at this. Scopes to request. Why would that not work? It should have a parent. The parent is model, is it not? All right, that's gone now. I don't know what happened there. I didn't do anything. Okay, so the IP address is definitely being set. I'm pretty confident of that on the back end. But why is it falling out of sync? Maybe my delete data schedule is doing something weird. So let's have a look at that now. If I jump into resources, probably not resources. Where would the schedule be? I think it's in like kernel. No, I think it's in console. Man, I can't even remember. Routes. Console, maybe? No, it wouldn't be under there. Oh, right, I'll just have to look at the docs. Laravel, schedule, task scheduling, scheduling. And what is this folder? Okay, it's console kernel. Of course, that makes more sense. Yeah, okay, we're created at. So, oh man, I need to wrap my head around this again. So basically, we're saying we're created at is greater than now. Subtract a week. So I need to do this. I need to like write this out for me to understand this because my brain is not very good at handling this stuff. Let's say that I created a to do today at 3 p.m. Created at 3 p.m. and it is now 4 p.m. It is now 4 p.m. If that time, and we want to delete it if it's greater than an hour, so let's say 4:01 p.m. So if that is less than, okay, so if we take now and subtract an hour, so now sub 1 hour is equal to 3:01. So that means that we want to check if created at is less than now subtract an hour. Man, I hate this logic. So created at, so let's say 3 p.m. Oh my God. This is doing my head in. 3 p.m. Is 3 p.m. less than 3:01? Okay, so in this case, it should be deleted. So we want this to return true. So 3 p.m. less than 3:01, yes. So I think these should actually be less than signs. Oh man, this stuff seriously does my head in. So anyway, I should be able to now at least start playing around with this. Created at. This really hurts my tiny little brain sometimes. Let's say comment, not comment. How about we just say project first. Okay, we get nothing. So let's say let's go to the API and create a project. And so we'll run this on test. We'll run that on. So this is running on test. Let's go ahead and create that. But we didn't create a project. We created a to-do list. So now let's come back in here and say to-do list first. All right, so we've got that now. And it's set it to my dummy IP address because that's what I do when I'm in console. So let's say to-do list first. Oh, hang on. Why is that getting a dummy IP address? Let's say to-do list all. Okay, there's actually a few of them. So let's say art migrate. How about we say art db wipe, and then we'll migrate the database. And then we'll go into Tinker. We'll come back here. We'll create it again. And now let's grab all of the to-do lists. Okay, sweet. To-do list first, and it's scoped to my IP address. So that's correct. So now I want to be able to say to-do list first how about to-do list where created at, and at the moment I'm using the greater than sign. So is greater than, I think I'll say carbon, carbon now. And we might have to, maybe the problem is the timestamps here, the way the timestamping is done. No, 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 that shouldn't matter at all. It should be time zone agnostic. So I'm just going to ignore what I just said then. Now, and let's say sub minute, and let's subtract 3 minutes from that. And then we'll say get. We go 2. We go 1. Okay, so it looks like that code is correct. So if it's... Actually, no, that code is wrong. Oh, man, see, this is why it really does my head in. Oh, no, because they're the ones I want to delete. So delete everything that is 5 minutes old or more. Delete everything that is 4 minutes old or more. 3 minutes old or more. 2 minutes old or more. And then we get nothing. So basically, as time progresses and we eventually hit 3 minutes, it will then be deleted. So I think that code is correct. Yep, it is. So then my question is maybe my IP address is changing. Let's refresh the page here. And I'm currently not getting anything, but I'm hitting that to-do list endpoint. Let's see what happens if I clear my cache. Same thing, we're hitting that endpoint, not getting anything. And now if I come in here and create a list though, my list. Okay, so that's gone ahead and created a list. We get that back. So if I refresh the page, that should definitely come back to me. Okay, and it is. But why would all the stuff from yesterday be deleted when it should be deleted? Because I was working on this yesterday and I was creating lists. So, okay, I guess my IP address might have changed, which is why I don't have some of the older stuff. I actually don't know how that works, to be honest. I don't know how I end up getting new IP addresses. Is it like when I disconnect from the internet or reconnect again? Like, how does that work? Yeah, look at that. Now it's like now I'm getting different data back. Super weird. Let's see if I can like find out, go to like a what is my IP type website. What is my IP? I'm doing this behind the scenes because I feel like I probably shouldn't be saying what my IP is. And my other question is it getting my IP version 6 or my IP version 4? Probably version 4. So it's giving me that list again. But then when I hit it with a create request, it doesn't show up. So maybe this isn't going to work. Maybe I am going to have to get people to log in or like create an account and then send requests with a token, which would suck because it would kind of ruin everything. Might have to see if I can find a way to get onto this on the back end. these are not going to be the most interesting streams, unfortunately. So let's, once again, I'm going to have to bring this onto another screen. This is an SQLite database. I don't know how I can connect to an SQLite database over. You know what I might do? I might move, if I go to Forge, I'm going to move to a persisted database. Sorry, a MySQL database instead of SQLite and see if that does anything. At least that way I can sort of connect to it and see the data that I'm playing around with, because I don't know how to look at an SQLite database easily when it's sitting on another server. Actually, maybe Table Plus does allow me to do that. I should at least give it a chance. No, it looks way too complicated. It's going to be so much easier to just build a database. So I'm doing this on my bottom screen here. Sorry guys, it's going to be a super boring one. Whilst I try and fix my API related problems. Alright, so I'm going into API for Quasarcast. And I'm going into my databases. And now I'm going to create a new database, which I will call to do dash API. Once again, you won't be able to see this. All right, so there we go. If I jump into that database now, so I have to use Table Plus for this. I should be able to open up that database. Quasarcast. And I think I can safely show you this, so I'm going to bring this in here. Yeah, so there's that database that I just created. And it should basically be empty, which it is. So what I'm going to do now is on Forge, and I might be able to show you this. I think it's safe. No, because I have to show my environment variables, so I'm going to have to do this on the bottom screen. Sorry, guys and girls. Let's go to to-do-api.quasarcast.com. And if I look at the environment variables, I'm basically going to, behind the scenes here, switch it to from an SQLite database to a kind of normal database. And I might be able to just copy the credentials from my other Quasarcast website. Yeah, we'll be able to do that. You'll get to see this in a second. Right, so I'm copying the connection details, and now I'm moving to do API. And then we'll paste the details in there. Does that look right? Yep, it does. So let's save that. And now let's jump into the server. Forge at, that's the IP of the server, so we'll jump into there and that should work fine. It's going to be quite slow because this server is pretty far away from me. I might be able to just redeploy and it should migrate the database for me. I don't know why that's still not logging in. I knew it would be slow, but this is crazy slow. Yeah, it's almost looks like it's just not responding. All right, so let's get out of that. And now, man, I thought this would run smoother. Now I'm deploying that in the background. So if I refresh this every now and then, I should eventually get the results of that showing up. All right, unable to deploy, so something went wrong. Oh crap, I forgot when I copy the environment variables to change a couple of things. Like the actual database. Whoops. To do dash API is the name of the database. So let's save that. And I'm going to try deploying this again. Whew. Give that a few seconds. And then I'll refresh this. All right, still nothing. Man, looks like we're having an issue again. It thinks the database doesn't exist, so what I'm going to do behind the scenes here is check the name of the database, because I might have gotten it wrong. Oh, I used an underscore instead of a dash. Right, I'd be surprised if anybody sticks through this video because it is not super interesting, but that's the point of these live streams. This is me just figuring stuff out. And unfortunately, I can't show you me figuring this stuff out because it's all dealing with sensitive data. All right, so let's change that to to-do underscore API. Save that, and then we'll deploy it again. All right, so that should be deployed in a few seconds, and then I'll refresh this. And if it works, I should be able to see all of my all of the new tables showing up in there. Hey, there we go. That's a few of the tables, and there's a few more of them. And it looks like that's working now. So if I go to to-do list, that should be empty. Cool. And now if I come in here and create one, it should show one, but I probably can't show you because it's going to have my IP address. So, whoops, I'm going to come over here and create a new to-do list. Oh, by the way, if I refresh this, I should get nothing now. Yep, nothing in that list. My list, let's make it green, give it an icon, create it, and then behind the scenes, I'm going to check if that shows up in the database with my IP address. Yep, and it did. So I'm going to go to whatismyip.com once again on my other screen and just check that they match up. Let's refresh that page. All right, they don't. Why would that be? Gosh, I'm not very good at IP address related stuff. If I refresh this page, does it still work? No, it doesn't. So let's go ahead and create another one. Another one. Blue. Create that. That worked. Refresh the page. Yeah, and that IP address is changing. I can see by refreshing the page now that the problem is the IP address that this data is being associated with is changing behind the scenes. So basically, I'm going to have to find another way to identify users that are hitting my website. I wonder if there is a way that I can identify that. So I'm probably going to stop this stream now, do a little bit of research to see if there's another way of identifying the same person hitting your website. What we could do, I guess, is you could add like a question mark. So maybe when you go to like to do API.Quasar. See, at the moment, if I go to that endpoint, it's basically using my IP address when I sent that request in order to find all of my data. It's scoped to my IP address, but since my IP address keeps changing, it means that it's not consistently scoped. So I need to find something that's consistent from the person that's sending the request. Like, and so maybe we could do something like this, say, question mark, scope. No, it wouldn't be scope because that word's already used, but question mark, me equals, and then you could have something unique, like Luke. And then if I do that, then it picks up. Yeah, okay, so that's working now. My IP address has changed again. It's just like circling. But yeah, by doing this, I could then basically scope it to where me is equal to Luke, and so people can basically test this API that way by adding this question mark. So anyway, I'm going to finish this video up there and do a bit of research on that. But hey, thanks for sticking around.